One more minute.
We're live on YouTube.
Okay, 6 o'clock. I'm gonna call this meeting of December 13th of the South Thompson Select Board to order. And before I even go to adjustments, if there's no objection, Chief Calderwood has asked if he could address the board, and I'd like to afford him, extend that opportunity to him. So, floor is yours.
All right, thank you for letting me go out of order. I got two things before. One major thing, so I have a letter of resignation from Connor Calderwood from the fire department effective immediately. And a letter of resignation from Alexis Davis from the fire department and ambulance effective immediately. And it is due to what I'm going to be reading here. To the South Thompson Board of Selectmen, as I stand in front of you this evening, I feel honored to be one of the few fire chiefs of the South Thompson Fire Department since it was started over 75 years ago. I have given blood, sweat, and tears to this town and department for over 30 years. I've given up numerous family events, time with my boys and my wife for this department. I've brought in close to $500,000 in grants to the fire department, which saved the town the expense. I've grown this department from 7 members in 2006 to 15 as of this letter, now 12. I've been a part of the changing the look of the fire department of Solid Savers to a department that our mutual aid departments want us to respond to versus don't call South Thompson. I want to thank Jeff Northgraves, John Spear, and Terry Baines for your support over the last 16 years, or for some of you longer, 30 years. This letter will be the last letter I write as the fire chief and a member of the South Thompson Fire Department as of December 13th, 2022. I'm retiring from the South Thompson Fire Department.
Thank you.
Well,
Jack, comments?
Get the words. Thank you.
Sue? And I wish to thank you. I remember well, the day you were appointed chief. I was on the board then. I think the department was down to 6 people, something like that. And I remember going over to see the chief in Rockland saying, we only got 6 people in our department, or 5. And he said, I'll put you on automatic call. And you took over young, inexperienced at the time, and built the department back up. Took time. Well, I didn't always agree on everything, but I really appreciated your efforts over the years. And I think most people in the town of South Thompson do, and I wish you well in retirement from the position. Is there further discussion? Yeah, is there a motion to accept the resignation or retirement, I should say?
I move to reluctantly accept retirement.
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion on that? All those in favor? I'd like to make an additional motion here. I'd like to make a motion that we gift to Chief Calderwood the light bar that's affixed to his truck. It probably doesn't have a lot of second market value now. It's been on his truck for years. And I think to take it off would be difficult. And I just like to make that, make a motion, we give that to him as a sort of a token of recognition of his service.
Second.
With the discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. Adjustments to the agenda?
I had a few. Consider accepting the fire department's recommendation to hire Cliff Daxo as a firefighter. Consider accepting a donation from Daniel and Linda Palmer in the amount of $100 to the fire department. Consider accepting a grant from the Tabitha King Foundation in the amount of $30,000 for a self-loading stretcher and an executive session.
I'd like to add two other items. Consider accepting resignations of, excuse me, sorry. Alexis Davis and Brian's son's name escapes me.
Connor.
Okay, is there any public comment for items not on the agenda? Seeing none. Review and approval of the prior meeting minutes. I believe we have the 29th and the 6th. Is there a motion?
Move to accept the minutes from November 29th and December 6th.
I'll second that.
Okay. Further discussion? All those in favor? Okay, if there's no objection, I would like to take out of order Terry's proposed adjustment to accept the Tabitha King grant. I know Amy is here for that, and I believe a few other folks are here for that, so. So if there's no objection, we'll take that up at this point. Amy, do you want to give us a little introduction on this? I know
Yeah,
you said-
yeah, I'll introduce, and then I think David, Ryan, and Cameron are there. It was a grant that Ryan Colson came and asked about applying for, and we applied for it, the self-floating stretcher, which is an automatic stretcher to load patients into the ambulance. I think there's some handouts there on the grants. And then if Ryan, he submitted the grant, so if he wants to kind of tell you more about it, that's great. They're sitting there, so it'll probably be easier for everybody to hear them. But we received the grant last week, and I think received the check this week, correct, Terry, or 2 weeks ago?
I think that yesterday, maybe.
I don't think they heard.
No. Did you hear me? Amy?
Yeah.
Okay. So Ryan, did you want to
Sure.
have anything on them?
Yeah, these stretchers are autoloaders. They're mounted in our truck. We just have to press a button. The stretcher will slide out of the ambulance and the legs will lower. There is no lifting involved in this, so it'll save our members possibly injuring themselves. That's one of the main reasons why workers' comp and EMS. We're very lucky to have this grant and excited to be putting in our truck.
Oh, I'm going to run as high as 70,000. This one is in the $30,000 range, is that correct?
Yes, so we will be using the stretcher we have now and applying a upgrade kit to it, and that will be around $29,500. And if we were to get another stretcher, it'd be $2,000.
I think I've been around too long. I remember when an ambulance cost about that.
Me too.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything they want to offer on this?
I just had a question. Does that mean that the first, bill could come down?
Let's hope.
Well, it's the less injured, it's rated based on injuries.
But it's
So,
based on expectation of, and if you're not having to lift the patient on a stretcher, I gather that's what you're saying.
That's beyond me.
yeah, I think it's based on history of injury, isn't it, Terry, primarily? You certainly can get demerits for having things that are not proper, but we're really getting into the weeds here.
I don't like these.
Yeah. Okay, are we all set on that? Terry, can you remind me, I didn't jot them down here, other proposed adjustments. One was, recommendation regarding hiring Cliff.
Yep, and accepting the donation to the fire department.
Okay, why don't we get those two right out of the way, so we don't forget them later. Let's take the easiest one first, the donation. Does anybody have any information? I do, right here. You just gave me a letter.
The letter doesn't say much about the donation.
No, it doesn't.
The donation was from Linda and Daniel Palmer in the amount of $100 for the fire department.
And it says, thank you for your excellent job. But doesn't say what the job was, does it? Can anybody shed any light on this Homeport Avenue?
No,
No?
they
Okay,
haven't, they haven't been to a call of the house.
Yeah, I think that does.
okay, so it isn't a particular
No,
call.
it's not tied to anything.
Okay.
It's just,
Okay, is there a motion to accept?
So
All those in favor?
also move that we accept the Tampa King.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
About 30,000.
I think it is 30, right?
$30,000.
Yeah, I forgot about that, sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Okay. Whoop. Further discussion? I just had one comment why I think this is great, and I don't want anyone to take this wrong. I was under the impression that it was our practice or when we were applying for grants, and I guess it's directed more at you, Amy, it was our policy, our practice that the select board approved that, or am I wrong on that? Was it just after they were accepted? Approved the application?
I had asked before and it was approved if we got accepted for it. But if it's different, then I'll definitely,
No, I'm not sure. I'm just trying to get clarification. So you would ask the select board at a meeting?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't recall that. Okay. Okay, so perfect. So my mind is not gone. We did, that is our practice. I just didn't remember you did it. Okay.
The
super.
practice just being that they ask if they can write the grant. Is that what you're
Right.
saying? Okay.
And I think the theory is that, for example, this is my understanding, let's say this foundation gave one grant a year to the town, and the library was well into preparing a $500,000 grant application. And then all of a sudden, somebody applies and we're awarded a $30,000 grant, and then they'll say, oh, you're not eligible because we already awarded you. Just try to keep the left hand know what the right hand's doing, so to speak, so. But we're all set. Just faulty memory on my part. Okay, do you wanna present Cliff? I will say, when I walked in, I saw Cliff in his, turnout gear, and I said, I thought this was a young man's job, and he said, what are you applying? What are you employing? So I walked away.
So going off that, it's definitely not just young guys. We have plenty of jobs for anyone that would be willing to come help us out. Whether it's just grabbing a bottle of water or direct traffic or fire, tons and tons of jobs available. So I'm bringing, Cliff had reached out to us when he sees, some of the signs around town and on the website that the fire department's really hurting for members. He reached out to us and wanted to come in on a training night and just kind of scope it out and see if it would be something he'd be interested in. So we came in on Monday night, we had chimney fire training, and we sat through the whole training and ended up filling out an application and amending that. We voted last night, the officers of the department, to accept them on the fire department. So I'm bringing him here tonight, so he can introduce himself to you guys and you can ask him questions.
Okay. I already asked him mine. I got me buff, so I'll shut up. Yeah,
Welcome. Are you intending to get fit tested and,
Whatever it needs to be, they scrape the bottom of the barrel, and there I was looking.
a lot of times you have to shave off the beard. Get that mask. Well, thank you.
I just thank you and welcome.
okay.
See how it goes.
Well, you're welcome before we actually vote on it. So is there a motion to accept Deputy Chief Elwell's recommendation to hire Cliff on the fire department?
Second.
Further discussion? You should, it's your last chance.
I already got to figure out how to get the suit, I can't, yeah.
All those in favor? Okay,
Yeah. I'm not long.
so that was everything on the adjustments except for the personnel session. Is that correct?
Except for the 2 resignations you added.
Yeah, why don't we do that? Okay, is there a motion to accept the resignation of Alexi Davis from the fire department as of December 31st, 2022?
So moved with regret.
Second. Further discussion? All those in favor? Is there a motion to accept the resignation of Connor Calderwood from the South Collinsville Fire Department effective 12/13/22?
So.
Second.
All further discussion? All those in favor?
So Alexis was the 31st and Thomas was the 31st.
No, I think they were both. I'm sorry. Pause was the 13th. And Alexis was. Well. It was originally December, but someone inked in, I'm sorry, no, that's the wrong one. No, hers is the 31st, you're correct.
Okay.
But she's still a member of the file. Okay, so that's it on adjustments, right?
Yeah.
Except for the personnel section. Okay, we're done in minutes. All right, consideration of language regarding amendments to the personnel policy. I think we're there. I think we just need a formal motion to accept the amendments to Article 12 and Article 7 that we discussed last week that are in front of you.
I move we accept the edits to the personnel policy for Article 7 and 9.
I second that.
Terry, you got them?
Go up.
When we're all on the same page, you've got, because you're the gatekeeper here, so I just want to make sure you've got exactly what.
I lost that gate.
Okay, further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Good job. Okay, discussion of budget guidelines to department heads. Jeff, you sent out an email, correct?
Yes.
I didn't have time to print that off. And Terry, you don't have it in front of us, by
Yeah,
chance.
but I did print them off, but I don't think they made it down this far.
Do you think you could put your hands on them?
I brought a copy of it.
You have extras?
I don't. I just-
You wanna?
I can
just
run
make a
that up and
couple-
copy it.
Excuse me, John? Was that sent to department heads or just to you guys? Like,
No, we're just working on the draft at this point to get it out to you.
Thanks.
I did copy it, but they didn't have the spelling correction. I read it in copies.
I just, sorry if I apologize, but I'd like to take a second and just read it. I just didn't have time to do that. Okay, yeah, you wanna address?
Yeah, so we talked last time about finding some way to get the department heads to let us know. Not a wish list, but other requirements, other needs, other anticipated costs that they are either aware of or think that should be considered by the select board. So,
Or that we should be.
correct.
Right.
Yeah, so this is an attempt to draft a paragraph that we can stick in there for the department heads. And it reads, in addition to the usual reasonable restrained budget request, the select board is also asking each department to include a separate page with additional costs not included in the revenue constrained budget. This can be requested for the short term you would include in your budget if costs or revenue were not an issue. Or it could be expenses you believe could be cost effective over the long run. Or it could be capital investments you project over the long run. But you're currently limiting your budget by either delaying it or spreading it over several years. Or it could be costs you anticipate will be required in the future, such as wear and tear, obsolescence, new technology. So I think I captured all of what we were trying to grab.
Yeah, I actually like this approach, because it's not quoted in a formal request, but it does give them an opportunity to say, well, you should be aware of this,
Right.
even if it's not immediate or, so I think you captured it perfectly as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think the only thing I didn't stick in there that I was trying to wrestle with is there are some ideas that department heads might have that would actually, over the long run are going to be save us money, but up front it's going to cost us. And I'd rather see those innovative ideas earlier rather than later. Because if we can't put it into this year's, then maybe we can keep it in mind for next year. So I guess the other thing on the letter to the department heads is I think the rest of it is pretty much boilerplate, except how much the pay raise is that we're going to include in there. And as you're aware, probably other people have heard me talk about this, we take a lot of effort to try to right size the pay that we put against a particular job. And if we then just let that pay ride forever and ever and ever, then within 5-6 years, we're out of whack. And we'd have to go back to the drawing board and figure out how much are we getting all over the state, how much are ambulance, how much is all of our positions. So one of the reasons I highly recommend doing a COLA every year for all of the department heads, all of the departments, is so that we keep pace with that effort that we did years ago to figure out what the right size is. Doesn't mean we're not gonna find ourselves out of whack and have to reevaluate as significant things change in our economy, but at least all things being equal, it tries to keep up with the cost of living on what we're paying our folks. Walter has suggested that instead of paying a COLA based on last year's CPI, which is what we have traditionally done. And this year, that number is 8.7%. That's what almost all of the other Social Security, military, federal retirement, that's the number that they're using starting for January. Walter's suggesting that instead of using that number, that we use a projection for what COLA is expected to be over the next year. And so that's a projection based on a non-real number, a guess, rather than an increase in pay based on a real number. And there's pros and cons to either one of those, and I actually like both of them for different reasons. The problem is that we've been covering last year's each year. So if we change and start projecting next year's, we miss this year. So the 8.7 would disappear and you'd get the projection, which is something significantly less than it. So if we are going to shift to a projected raise based on anticipated cost of living, then what you need to do is when you make that transition, you have to do a catch up. You have to double. You have to do last year's and this year's. Otherwise, we've lost a year of folks earning capability. And I don't think that this year is the year to do that, especially since last year was an 8.7% increase. And traditionally, we've had 2.3, maybe 4 over a couple of years over the last 10 years. So this year is definitely not the year to double up to try to do that. So I want to, my recommendation is we stick with the historical 8.7%.
So this would be, just for clarity, so everybody's on the same page, this would be an across the board COLA. It would not take away a department head ability, as I believe in the letter, to come in and say, my position or this position has drastically changed and it should be paid far less than we currently pay, or far more than we currently pay, is based on this reason, that reason, and this change, and now they've got to do this, and the state's requiring that, and those types of things. So I just want to make crystal clear that when the letter goes out, that opportunity still exists to come in.
Yes.
And chat with us about jobs that they think have changed or I guess want to change. And that's your understanding as well.
Yes, exactly.
Sue, questions, comments? I know 8.78 sounds like a lot, but I think we have found, particularly over the past couple of years, we're not ahead of the curve in our pay rates with other municipalities in the private sector struggling to get people, retain people, and most of our jobs are part-time. They don't come with benefits, so with a couple of exceptions, so I'm supportive of it. I don't quite know how we handle this procedurally. We just authorized Terry to draft a letter in final form, circulate it to us for any comments and get it out the door. Is that sufficient? I mean, based on the discussion we've had tonight and the previous meeting. And unless we want to sit here and type it up. Okay. If there a motion to that effect, or?
Yeah, I'll move to have Terry make the changes to the boilerplate letter and get it out with this paragraph and 8.7% included in the cost of living increase.
I'll second that.
Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Terry, before we move on, did you want to talk a little bit about the timeline on budget prep and?
We could, but I think lots can depend on you. When you come back and how much time people feel you need for different things, if you guys want to think about it for a little bit, it's not like we have to decide for them. Unless you want to know.
Well, there's some key dates. We do want to get the letter out, so we do want to know when we want the request back, so you can compile them. I would think at a minimum, that needs to be in the letter that's going out, correct?
Yeah, I think it's part of the letter.
Yeah, but do we have a date on that, or? I know you would.
I had thought about it. I had thought about it.
I know.
Right.
And you laid out some dates, I thought. so,
Yeah.
Which of course I can't put my hands on right at the moment. But, can you just kind of read what? Was it last year's date you had on there, or? the
Well,
proposed?
in your background notes.
Yeah, oh, that's what it was, okay.
I can get the budget sheets out to the department heads, I think by the end of January, probably earlier. And last year you met with the department heads March 9th and 10th. I don't know why we did it in 2 nights, except for, well, maybe one of the nights was the night the Zoom went down, and we couldn't meet. And it seems like that's an awful lot for 2 nights.
2 nights is too many nights or not enough nights?
Not enough, but when
Okay.
we did it in 2 nights, on the 9th and 10th, you reviewed all the budgets with all the department heads. Of course, really, the only department heads that come in are fire department and ambulance and EMA, because I do a lot of them and John does a lot of them. In the library. So it's kind of,
But they did it during the day.
I think we did.
yeah,
Yeah. And you know, we can do that again as well. So we're looking at sometime around the 9th to. So when would they be due back from the department head? I guess that's kind of what I'm looking at.
yeah, middle of February.
And that gives you enough time to put something together for a
I
discussion.
have everything ready just to put their numbers in once they give them to me.
Okay,
I mean, some of the budgets will, and you'll do, and I'll do it myself, and
mhm.
Penny's always quick.
Okay, so are we still talking, in your mind, budget committee kind of?
Last year you met
Well,
with budget committee, March 31st, April 4th, 5th, and 7th.
Yeah. I personally would like to push that out a week, because I'm not gonna be back here for the 5th. And I'd like to be in that discussion.
I think that would be important.
I mean, I can always Zoom, but it's just not, when you get a bunch of people. it's just-
And the week of the 10th was better,
The week of April 5th.
April 10th.
Because I do think we probably should at least, even though we don't have specific dates, we get a heads up, save the date. To the budget committee members. This is the week with, I mean, the rough time period. We can tweak that as we move forward, but. Okay,
One of the problems that we may run into is we didn't used to have 2 meetings here. Now we have Conservation Commission meets here on Wednesdays. That might interfere with that.
well, they couldn't move down to Guilford Butler. I mean, do we have the owl set up there?
Yeah, the owl there.
It is set up and running.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could also,
We also have some,
second Wednesday.
I don't know on my calendar.
Because I think
I'm
the
assuming-
meeting we got.
Your meeting minutes, that would work perfectly.
Or the other 10th, I don't have a calendar.
The second Wednesday is the 12th. We'd be meeting that one.
Yeah.
So, except that I'm on phone. Then you can vote. Yeah. Okay.
But in terms
I'm
of,
sure we can
in
work that
terms
out.
of moving the meeting, I think we can move some of the meetings. Maybe we should have the budget committee meeting at Gilbert Butler.
Yeah, we could do
Bigger
that,
space
too.
there, I mean, you know.
Yep.
And we have got undoubtedly, since we have, 10% of the townspeople doing 90% of the volunteer work here, we're gonna have people who have conflicts then,
Yeah. I was thinking more of the room. I forgot about the library and
Yeah.
having their own one.
Okay,
That'd be perfect.
okay, so is that a kind of a rough, flesh it out timetable? And then, of course, we're looking at end of June for a town meeting, but you gotta back down from there, from the warrant and the printer and all that stuff, so.
Yep.
Are we
So-
good?
Yep, I'll
I
try to-
better
I'll try to-
say that, I better look alike.
So the department head budgets would be due to you
Sometime around.
the 17th of February.
Yeah, that's,
It's a
is that
Friday.
Martin Luther King Day?
No,
No, that's the
That's
next week.
following Monday.
but somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, 17th to, what's the Tuesday after Martin Luther King?
20.
Oh, no, you're.
No, that's President's.
Martin Luther is January 16th.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, February.
yeah, you're right, I was gonna say.
President's Day is on the 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even, the 21st, so probably the 17th would be the best.
Now we're talking. Okay. We're jumping around here. So that was department head. So in terms of the budget meetings, though, we're thinking
The week of the 10th of
April
April.
10th.
that, okay,
It's 10 through 14.
okay. Yeah, I'm wide open. The only thing I have is my foot pedicure on Wednesday. That works for me. Okay. So you feel like you get enough to Terry to put something together here? And again, this is always somewhat of a fluid.
It is.
I mean, if we have a major snowstorm or something,
So there's somewhere around March 9th, 10th-ish work to meet with the department heads. And you think 2 nights is okay?
Yeah,
I guess if you have questions, you could always go back to that one.
yeah, I don't, yeah, I mean, we did it early in the morning last year. I know that's not gonna work for Sue. And I don't wanna get into specific dates, but, the 10th won't work for me, but that's okay. But we can, why don't we all email Terry, and if there's a couple of dates, rather than sitting here trying to do it tonight, if there's a couple of days around that area that don't work, let her know, and then you can. Okay? We ready to move on?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Terry. Okay, discussion regarding the second tranche of ARPA funds. Terry gave us a summary of where we stand.
And I did forget to put the street light on there. That's about $1,000.
Okay, so we're roughly around 39,000 left.
Yep.
And do we have any obligations that we've made that aren't in there, or did you kind of bake those in?
I put them under the earmark. I just forgot the street light.
Okay. Is there anything we want to do on this tonight? We don't have to. People are working on some things. I know people are working on some things, and we got some things in the works. Okay, so let's keep that on the agenda though, because there is an end date here eventually, so. All right, consider assessing agent proposals. We have 2 proposals, one from Kevin McCormick and one from our current assessors agent company, RJD Appraisal. I looked them over. I guess I'll start. I think a couple of things. I mean, we've been with RJD, is it, for years. However, Kevin was their employee and was kind of our kind of our assigned person for years that we had them. So that's, I feel like they're both incumbents, so to speak, not technically. To me, the big difference is RJD has a lot of employees in backup and Kevin is on his own. And to me, that's a negative for Kevin. The positive for Kevin in my mind is I think he has a great relationship with a lot of people in town. He knows the area and, I think Terry, I think you find him very easy to work with.
There,
So that's, now we're back on the other side. Price wise, Kevin was, what was he, 65 an hour? 75 an hour. And, IGD was, put it on a daily basis. So everybody have that number, it was 75 for Kevin and 650, 655. But Terry, let me ask you, when they say a day, my sense is they're not here at 7 o'clock in the morning
no, they're here between 8:30 and 9,
and they leave,
4:30.
do they say 4:30? Okay, because a lot of times okay. So
Sometimes
it's,
4,
so
4:30.
pretty much not quite 8 hours then, or?
No, not quite.
Yeah, they define their hours as 8:30 to 4:30.
Yeah. Which would be 8, correct? Yes. So let's assume it is 8. I didn't do the math, but
600.
600.
No, for Kevin, for 8 hours, it'd be 600.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it should come out a little. Less expensive. So, long and short of my review is pluses and minuses on both sides. Other thoughts, comments? I guess I was a little upset that when we told RJD, we were upset, maybe too strong for it, but not happy. When we told RJD we were gonna be putting this out to bid, and all of a sudden, we had a contract with them to the end of December, this December, and all of a sudden, the agent decided, or the boss told the agent, Jay, not to show up until. And he had an appointment, I should say, an appointment.
Yeah.
That he didn't tell us about, and when we came in, and I was not happy about it. But I guess that's since been worked out, right? They
Yeah.
rescheduled the appointment.
Yeah, he's supposed to show up on the 15th.
On what? On the 15th.
And there was a recent request, I think by MMA, for information on, the program, people who.
Property stabilization.
Stabilization, they wanted information from each of the towns by a certain date.
For lobbying purposes, yeah.
Yeah. And
I don't know if that gets, you don't know if they
Did
put that in?
it go to the assessor?
well, I think it probably did. Yeah, it probably went to this.
So there's no one looking at that email and.
Yeah, so.
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, they're not checking the email. They just sort of and we had a contract with them to begin in December, and they just walked away. Because we were putting this up to bid. Am I mischaracterizing this?
No, that's the way I kind of interpret it.
Do you not do that bid every year?
No, we've been.
You just
yeah.
have.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't really be practical. There's a big learning curve here. I mean, hopefully you can get someone and they get familiar with it, So, comments, thoughts?
No, I'm ready to go. ATM assessing.
Is that a motion?
It is. It's with ATM assessing. Before we do the contract with them, I did
Yeah.
discuss
Sit
a few
down.
things, yeah. Because I think even his proposal is some at-home work and
Yeah.
how we do that needs to be pretty well spelled out.
And he is proposing 1 year.
I don't have a problem with doing the first one for a year. I mean, it's a new,
Well, yeah.
basically, he's a new entity.
Yeah, I was thinking though that when we talked to him, I mean, I wouldn't mind locking him in for a couple of years, but giving us the option to bail at the end of the year.
Yes, yeah. Or him, I mean, he may decide that this isn't working. He wants.
So I don't want to put that in there.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, he may decide that he doesn't want to be on his own anymore.
Yeah, that's true. And that's the one thing that worries me, if he breaks his foot, like he did 3 months ago.
Exactly, yeah.
But if he can remote in, he could still work.
Yeah.
But my point is still, if you're, when you're a one,
Yeah.
but on the other hand, we had a one person assessors agent for years, for
Bert,
Dick Sawyer and
And Bert.
Bert for 35 years.
And he may not be a one person, if he gets enough business, he may be able to
Sure.
hire other
Right.
people to work with
Yeah,
him,
sure.
so
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. He's currently like this.
he's currently,
Yeah.
right.
Okay. So further discussion? Did you second it?
I'm seconding it.
You-
now.
Okay. I couldn't remember whether you did or you
I
didn't. Okay, that's all right. Further discussion? All those in favor? All right. So, I think we need to set something up sooner than later here, though. I know you're going to Florida.
Right, tomorrow.
I think we can do the Zoom.
Yeah.
Do you? I mean, he's coming from Newport. I mean, I hate to, can you do a half an hour in Florida, or is that pushing it?
No, I probably.
Like 4 o'clock, just before cocktail hour?
Just after, Dr.
we can have a virtual cocktail.
Well, Terry, why don't you see if you can set something up between the 3 of us and Kevin for a Zoom at 4?
Depending on the day.
Yeah, I mean, but see what you can work out, get a
Okay.
couple of dates from him and you know, you gotta post it in anyway, so. And if it doesn't work until after Jeff, when are you coming back?
20th.
And now we're into Christmas almost, but yeah, but okay. We'll see what we can do. Okay, great. Did we vote?
No.
All those in favor? I need someone to keep me in order. I think at this point, with Rob, I think we can, I don't know that we need to tell him anything at this point, other than we're still. If he asks, we're still evaluating, I mean, in a sense, I mean, no?
No, we just did it. Oh.
I know, but you said before we sign a contract, you wanted to. Right, and talk with him, I mean, so we're still sort of in the negotiating phase,
Correct,
Uh,
yes, technically we are.
yeah, I mean, if he calls, Terry can tell him, but I don't feel a need to
Right.
reach out and,
So if he calls, I tell him.
yeah,
Pending contract
Right,
negotiation.
Okay, okay, Terry, at our December 22nd meeting, we appointed Terry Baines as the assistant CEO. So I think, and that's when we assume that Daniel is gonna be here to December 7th. So I think we need an to appoint her as a regular CEO or an interim CEO but not assistant.
Right.
And is there a motion to that effect?
Yeah, I move we change Terry from the assistant CEO to the interim CEO. And I think did we already appoint
I think
the
that-
other Terry to the assistant?
I think we did.
I thought we did. I thought we appointed Terry. He was the assistant before, and then I thought we appointed him as,
Well, we haven't appointed him as assistant CEO.
True, and that's what you and I talked about. He's all set on the plumbing. stuff.
Yeah, he's awesome.
But I was thinking we should appoint him as the assistant CEO, because then he could sign permit if
Yeah.
Terry was ill or whatever. so.
Yeah, I do make that part of it. Point. Terry.
Now we're talking Terry Brackett.
Terry Brackett. To the assistant CEO.
Yeah.
Terry with a Y.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, further discussion? All those in favor? And Terry, you're doing a great job. We may have to remove that intro.
Like it.
Oh,
I didn't-
well, it's even better.
I have to learn more of all the stuff, but I.
Yeah, we
that
gotta
means
learn
I'm
what
gonna
you're
take
doing.
the book home with me and actually look at it.
Okay. Accepting a donation to the library from McLean's Lobster Shack in the amount of $2,500.
With pleasure.
Yeah, nice donation.
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, and I'm gonna ask this question every time. I just want to make sure we're clear that this is for the current library's operations, not because we have
Yes.
another pot of money.
No, very clear,
Right,
she
okay.
talked to Penny.
Yeah, great, perfect. Okay, all those in favor? I just want to make sure it ends up in the right pot, so to speak. Lots of pot. That's terrible.
And the checkbook,
Were you asking a question?
just where it was going.
I'll defer to Terry on
Yes, she nodded, I have.
Oh.
We, had some inquiries about passes to the outside transportation museum and the botanical gardens, because both of those have become a little pricey, so thinking of spending some of the money to get library membership that could be kept out from the library for those two.
I think the Rockwood Library does that to the botanical gardens.
So they buy a yearly membership and people can come in and just sign it out and go.
Yeah, right now we have Farnsworth and, the CMCA. And so, like to expand our repertoire and then maybe with the snowball pass.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Okay, monthly reports,
Brian was the only one that ever.
I know, I was gonna say, this is a little thin this month, huh? We need to send out a reminder.
Terry or John, I sent mine by email, so you'll get it. Thought I sent it.
Okay, I haven't seen it, but maybe Terry has, so, okay.
I think I got it this morning.
All righty, so correspondence from the Spirit of America. I will confess, I have not read that.
And did I give it in your packet?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
See it.
That's why I don't recall reading it.
Because I put it in the folder for the next meeting.
Oh.
I can-
Is there any time sensitivity on it?
When I read it this afternoon, because it was laying on my desk, I said, oh, that can go to the next meeting. So we can put it there, or I can run up and get it. They're just looking for you to nominate a volunteer for we get this every year, the Spirit of America.
What's the deadline?
It was.
It was?
It is. I want to say March, but I can run up and get it. Can't be too sad.
Well,
You're zipping right through this meeting, John. That's
Sure.
Crazy.
yeah, if you can lay your hands right on, I just don't want to miss a deadline, and then, I don't know, if somebody has somebody they might want to nominate, or not.
What is it?
I'm not real sure, we haven't seen the letter.
Oh, I thought this was something to every year.
My impression is that some sort of committee that is looking for towns and cities to nominate people that are exemplifying the spirit of America, but I don't know.
I don't remember doing it here. The county, I do know the county has done it a couple of them.
No, probably not. But sometimes you read those things and you say, oh, I know who would be a perfect fit. Oh, don't tell me it's 12 pages long.
Plenty of time.
Oh.
Here's something.
Oh,
I
put it on the next agenda.
That's why I put it in this next folder.
Well, it's on the agenda, I was reading that.
Yeah, but I was out yesterday.
Okay, we have warrants we need to sign, which we can pass around. We have meetings scheduled for, we don't have another meeting scheduled this month, correct?
Correct, correct.
But we may schedule one, to talk with, Kevin. We can always add a item or two if we have to on that. And then we have January 10th and January 24th. And I will attend those remotely. Excuse me. Do we want to schedule February or
Yes.
at least tentatively? February. So normally we would meet the 14th and 28th, is that correct?
That's good.
You know, one second, what is that? Valentine's Day is the 14th, you know. Is it still good for you?
It's good.
Okay. Terry, is that gonna work for you on Valentine's Day?
I'll have to ask Maggie.
And Sue, I don't wanna leave you out. Okay. Good. I will also zoom those meetings. Is there a motion to enter executive? Is that everything? Anything else?
Everything.
Okay.
The letter from the first.
I just got that tonight.
Yeah.
We were gonna
Put it on next.
put it on the next one, because we didn't get to read it yet.
Yeah. Is there a motion to enter executive session, to discuss the personnel matter?
I move we enter executive session in accordance with Title 1, Chapter 3.1, paragraph 405A, discuss a personnel.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Okay. Give us 1 second here.
Oh, yeah.
So Terry, you just want me to sign off, right?
What's that, Amy?
You just want me to sign off, right?
We won't be taking it.
Well, we won't